In Russia, enterprises of the military-industrial complex lack professional workers. The deficit happened because the Russian Federation started to significantly scale up arms production. According to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the volume of arms production has increased 3 to 6 times.
This is a powerful mechanism for warfare. Russia still has the capacity to produce almost all major weaponry nomenclatures, although there is information that the arms industry of Russia lacks hundreds of thousands of professional workers. Ivan Havrilyuk, Lieutenant General, the first Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, in an interview with the Ukrinform publication.
At the time, due to sanctions, components for equipment that Russia used to receive from Western countries have become unavailable, and due to significant losses on the front lines, the Russian army is using Soviet-period weapons.
Instead of modern tanks, mostly Soviet-designed vehicles are sent to the front. The same applies to artillery and multiple rocket launchers. But even old weapons are still weapons. Even T-62 or T-55 are also tanks. The aggressor's logic is simple: not to spend on something that can be refilled from old stockpiles at some point. The main thing is quantity. Ivan Havrilyuk, Lieutenant General, the first Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, in an interview with the Ukrinform publication.
Russia is also faced with significant problems with the replenishment of personnel due to the unwillingness of Russians to fight. In this regard, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation plans to make it more difficult to release recruits from service. This is stated on the report of the Institute for the Study of War. Now, the monthly enrollment in the ranks of the Russian army is so low that it does not cover the monthly losses. In addition, analysts noted that at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025, the level of recruitment of Russian military was either equal to or lower than necessary to compensate for losses. Some regions of Russia are not facing mobilization quotas as more citizens to refuse to fight.
Regions compete with each other to see who will give the most payouts. There is an acute shortage of stormtroopers. While in the past there were hot storms of prisoners sent there by Prigozhin, now things are a bit different with the recruitment of prisoners. But that doesn't change the fact that new people are needed to go on these attacks.
To encourage more people to go to the war, the Russian Ministry of Defense intends to revise the medical criteria for military service and reclassify them as less significant, allowing more people to be declared fit for service.
The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation proposed reclassifying syphilis, hypertension, central nervous system atrophy disorders, skin diseases, schizophrenia, psychotic disorders, affective disorders, and other health problems as more minor ailments that do not disqualify someone from service. From the Institute for the Study of War report.
Astra reports that those who do not want to go to the front are now placed in special camps in the Russian Federation. Refusers are handcuffed to beds inside the barracks. One such camp was reported to the publication by relatives of one of the victims. The tent camp was rented by people in military uniform on the base of 74th Separate Guards Mortar Rifle Brigade of Kuzbas. Let us recall that in recent months, Russia has suffered huge losses in its war against Ukraine. According to the Ukrainian Armed Forces General Staff, the invaders' losses per day range from 1,300 to 2,200 servicemen. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.
The Ukrainian Defense Forces, on the night of February 3, 2025, hit two strategically important enterprises for Russia: the Volgograd oil refinery, which produces gasoline, diesel, and aviation fuel, and the Astrakhan gas processing plant, one of the largest gas chemical complexes in the world. The plant produces automotive gasoline, diesel fuel, and is also the main Russian producer of sulfur for explosives. The operation of the plant has been stopped.
Both of these strategic objects are producers of a large amount of fuel for the Russian occupation army. According to preliminary data, at the plant in the Volgograd region, in particular, primary processing units have been damaged. General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces on Telegram.
It was earlier reported that after drone attacks, the Siburg-Stovo oil refinery near Nizhny Novgorod suspended operations. No shipments are being made, and all main units have been switched to reserve mode. Experts believe that after the strikes on the Ryazan, Volgograd refineries, and the plant near Nizhny Novgorod, there could be a shortage of aviation kerosene in Russia.
In this industry, regularity, cycles, and precise schedules are very important, and when strikes occur, individual elements of the production cycle are disabled, which means the entire cycle suffers. The issue here is not only the capacity of what has been disabled. Other facilities which will compensate for this loss need time to be launched, and very often they need to be decommissioned, fuel must be supplied, reservoirs filled, and so on. Therefore, such constant strikes will eventually lead to a collapse. It's not because there won't be oil or fuel, but because the logistics system will simply not work.
According to Reuters, the strikes on Russian refineries have led to a collapse in oil refining in Russia, reaching a 12-year minimum. In the first month of 2025, the Ukrainian Defense Forces successfully attacked 25 strategic objects on Russian territory, reported Andriy Kovalenko, head of the Center for Counteracting Disinformation under Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council. All of them are of crucial importance for the aggressor country.
A year ago, as it all started, we have been saying ever since that this is our strategy. We are confidently continuing to implement this strategy.
Previously, the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Oleksandr Syrsky, reported that in the last few months, due to the strikes on Russian military objects, the consumption rate of ammunition by the invaders has decreased almost by half. Reported by Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.